What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Life of a Champ podcast. For today's episode 185, we're going to be discussing love versus money, featuring the boy Anthony. For the people that do not know you, Anthony, go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Anthony Washington. Hung, dark, and handsome. I, I know it's been a minute since I've been on, but man, I hope y'all ain't forgot me nothing by now. Come on now. um, I, I, I'm not gonna lie. I was cooking that one up before we started the pod. I had to for my intro. Um, but yeah, man, I'm glad to be back. I ain't been on in at least what 30, probably more than that, at least 30 plus episodes. So
Yeah, it's about time I have somebody back on the podcast, and of course, can never go wrong with Anthony.
yes, sir.
So we can go ahead and get it rocking today. So, like I said, a few things I want to say before I go ahead and get started, right? Make sure you go and follow me on Twitch, TikTok, and on Rumble at Life of a Champ podcast on every single platform. Make sure you go ahead and leave a like on my YouTube shorts as well as my YouTube clips. I'll be posting more this upcoming week and more live streams ahead. I'll be doing a music live stream after this as well. So if you like listening to music live when it comes out, tap in with that for sure. Other than that, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I'll be hitting 100,000 views total on this podcast. So make sure you go ahead and share it. Make sure you go ahead and make sure I hit that milestone. I would appreciate it very, very much.
Oh, yeah. Good
So
shit, bro. It's good shit.
appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, man. You already know what time it is, man. We going up, man. We getting up in here, man. So to get it started, Anthony, like it's been a minute, man. It's been a minute. So
It has been a minute.
I wanna ask you a question, man. I wanna ask you a question. So
Alright.
what's been brought to your consciousness's attention recently?
Like personal life or just like the major thoughts that I've been going on.
Um, I guess I would say however you interpret that, but more importantly, like maybe there's something as of recently you've been a little bit more interested in. So you might have like chosen to go ahead and learn about this, or like maybe it's something within your day to day life, or maybe it's a lesson that you're learning in life, like just anything that. Like I said, has been brought to your attention recently, or maybe you've been a little bit more focused on it,
Yep.
maybe recently.
More so recently, I realized. I mean, I already it's something I already knew, but it feels more. I feel it more strongly now. I'd say. I don't care for people's attention as much as I used to. I always loved the spotlight, but as of recently, I realized I was like, do I really want to get attention from these people? Like I realized it's people. I've realized most people I don't see them as like quality, as like quality interaction with
Okay.
people. Obviously, you have to interact with people, to know whether or not they're of quality. But I notice mannerisms. There's a lot of people I don't feel the need to what's it called get their validation for things anymore. I'm like I don't like I get nothing out of like getting any attention, substance, compliments, anything from people. A lot of people anymore, and it was something I've only just recently noticed when I've been because I've been listening in the mornings on my way to work. I always listen to different podcasts, and they're actually what made me come to this conclusion. I'm like, mm, I'm not really impressed by people as much anymore. So I
Okay.
mean, I never really was, but even more so now.
Okay.
So
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, that's definitely an interesting take. But yeah, like I said, that's like you had mentioned. You kind of have to like you have to somewhat interact with them before that you realize whether they're quality or not. But it's very very early on where you can assess whether they're quality or not, or whether they're worth your time and attention and energy or not. Very very early on. So obviously, like I said, that is something that you
exactly,
no longer feel the need to be or try to be impressive. Just
exactly
say that.
that, and not when I say not being impressed by him, I mean like the saying what's it called? Don't take advice from someone you don't want to be like.
Mhm.
That one's been weighing more heavily with me specifically. I'm like, well, I see what they're doing, and I'm like, well, do I want to do that? Not really. So that's been weighing a lot more heavily with me. So when people tell me things, I started taking it at face value more. I'm
Mhm.
like, I'll discern whether or not this is information that I should hold, or feel free to just let it go in one ear, come out the other. So
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting quote, right? One thing that I'll say that I've learned as of recently with that is most people can give out advice, but just because they give out advice, and maybe it is even good advice, it might still not apply to you anyways.
hmm
So that's something that I see time and time again with the podcast, things like that. Like, let's just say somebody were to try to give me some business advice or like just maybe content creation advice. If it doesn't exactly apply directly to what I do,
Hmm.
essentially come from a person that I want to be like, or come from a person that does what I do,
Hmm.
then essentially it has no application at all. So it could be solid, good advice, but if it has no room for applicability, it's simply
Yeah.
just that good advice. It's not something that's gonna be life changing or like it's not good advice, particularly to me.
Yeah.
Does it
Yeah.
make
It
sense?
doesn't pertain to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
And like I said, that kind of feel like that kind of goes with everybody, right? So like let's just say somebody in your life, let's just say an older person. This is what I see more often than not, right? There's very few not things that you can learn from older people, but there's very few things that somebody is going to give you a life advice on. Like I said, I see a lot of older people giving out. You know, they have wisdom, of course,
Yeah.
but they give out that advice. But it's very rare you find yourself in a situation where it's exactly applicable to what's on your mind at the time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Maybe like months or years go by, and then you remember that person giving you that piece of advice, but it doesn't exactly click right then and there, right?
Yeah.
It's almost that same thing, right? It just doesn't apply at the time or at the moment that it's given, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So that is good for sure. For me personally,
Wow. It's funny you say that.
what?
No, I was just thinking it's funny you say that because you said old people give you advice and it doesn't pertain to you at that time, at that moment, right? And I've been watching more videos recently, specifically just quote based ones. I was like, because sometimes I like to just listen to quotes from different people, different sources, whether it's movies, actors, comedians, whatever.
Sure.
Just to break them down and analyze them for what they really are.
Okay.
And one of the ones I looked up was heroes and villains, right? For quotes from heroes and villains. I was like, because they say when you're young, you admire the hero, and then when you grow older, you understand the villain's point of view. And I was like, that's kind of exactly, well, I mean, not exactly the same, but I was like, that's similar with to what you're saying. Like the villains aren't understood like when we're kids, like just like information isn't needed when you're younger, and then when you get older, they make all the more sense. And I was like, wow, it's like almost the same thing, but not the same thing. But I heard some good ones too. What? No, I mean,
While you're thinking, hold on, I want to kind of get into that a little bit. So,
yeah.
the way that I kind of extrapolate that specific thing that you had mentioned, right, with understanding the hero's point of view, or maybe rooting or siding with the hero as opposed to the villain, and then when you get much older, you begin to understand the villain's point of view.
Yeah.
The way that I kind of see that how that applies to society is like this. Let's just say society says, "Hey, this person is crazy."
Hmm.
Right? Oh, this person is having an episode. But the more you learn the brutal realities of life, and once you realize how the world is actually ran,
Hmm.
you'll begin to realize that a lot of those people who they claim are crazy aren't that crazy.
Exactly. It's funny you say that because what actually goes directly hand in hand with one of the quotes I heard. Right. It was actually from the original Dark Knight. It was Joker. He said, "I'm not a monster. I'm just ahead of the curve."
Hmm. Okay.
That
Okay.
that, wa- that was the exact quote. He said, "I'm not a monster. I'm just ahead of the curve." And I was like, "That's exactly what it is, really." Like, obviously, they see him as crazy, right? When you're a kid, you see Joker, you're like, "Yeah, he's crazy."
Yeah.
And then you hear that quote and you think of it now, it's like, well, yeah, if you're ahead of the curve, more than likely you're gonna be seen as a little bit off your rockers, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe you know shit that other people don't,
Exactly.
and maybe that's not exactly your fault. Maybe it's the lack of awareness or the naivety of the society. You never know, man. You never know. But is there anything else you want to add to that before we go and move on?
Oh, no, no, no. Let's get it rocket into it.
All right, so yeah, like I said, today's topic is going to be many different topics, but this is going to be one of the main ones for today's episode. The episode was based off of love versus money. So now I want to give you the option, right, Anthony?
Hmm.
I will go ahead and give my answer. I want to kind of make it very very vivid within your mind, right?
Hmm.
So love versus money. It is not as simple as that. So like let's just say it is. Let's say because like I said, money's vague. Money's vague. So let's say $10 billion, for instance. Okay, $10 billion, right?
Yeah.
Or love, right? So that means if you choose love,
Hmm.
let's just say financially speaking, you will live an average existence. Maybe you'll get by. Let's just say the max you can hit is like 100,000 a year. which is fairly good living, fairly good
Yeah,
living.
yeah,
But
that's
that's
pretty good.
that. No matter how hard you work, no matter how innovative you are, no matter how good your investments, that is the maximum amount of money you will make.
Mhm.
But you will have love, right? Let's just say you'll be you have potential to be a millionaire, but that's if you save your money and yeah, okay. Let's just say that. Let's just say that, right? Okay. Or
Mhm.
money, $10 billion, right, given right to you, wired to your account instantly, but you will have no love. No love will be. No one will love you, and you won't even be afforded the option to love anyone else.
Damn.
You will have no love from your friends, no love from your family. You'll never have a lover in your life, and that's a decision that you would make because now you'd have $10 billion.
Damn. Like nothing.
You would have nothing except here's the thing. On the outside, you would look. It looks like you would have everything, Anthony.
Mm.
So, what is your decision?
I mean, here's the thing. When it's broken down that much, shit, I'd be richer with love than I would be with actual money in that case.
Okay,
I mean, because here's the thing. $10 billion.
$10 billion, life changing money. This is your
You know,
kids' money. We're talking about if you could have kids.
Well, here's the thing, right? Exactly. And you said no friends, no family, nobody love you, right? But you got $10 billion.
Yeah, you could still have kids, but just know those kids are probably not gonna love you.
Exactly. So, well, here's the thing: $10 billion with that kind of money, that money is only as good as the people you can spend it with.
Mm.
So,
Okay.
so I'm like, if I gotta live for like $100,000 a year, honestly, I'd say I'm still doing better than a fair amount of people. So
Sure.
with that and with the love, yeah, I was like, hey yo, we enjoying that money still. So I definitely got to take that $100,000 a year with the love over $10 billion.
Yeah, I had to up the money because I was gonna say 75,000, which is maybe a little bit better than the average existence, maybe.
Yeah,
But I had with inflation, I had to adjust for inflation, and then also had to adjust if $10 billion versus let's just say 100,000 a year. That's it's still fucking a huge difference.
it is a huge difference.
And like I said, of course, I gotta make the work at least meaningful. Like I said, if you're gonna do work, then at least let it be of somewhat meaning, right? But yeah, so that is an interesting thing that you had mentioned. This is something that I had thought about. I was like, okay, if you had $10 billion, who the fuck would you even enjoy it with? Is like I said, if you would get rid of the people, essentially get rid of them, of the people that you would have actually enjoyed the money with, what's the point of even having the money?
Exactly.
And like I said, the reason this was brought to my attention is because I was at work and um I was given this option, and it was funny because a week prior I had a conversation with my girlfriend and my sister and her boyfriend, and we were discussing this question of for $10 billion, would you cheat on your partner?
Wow.
And that's an interesting thing, right? Of course, because a lot. I mean, here's the thing: I asked a lot of people, and most people say, I cheat.
Yeah.
I cheat for 10 billion. Of course, I cheat.
Mhm.
No hesitation, no extra thoughts. I cheat. The partner that was in their life, one of the few people that they trusted, one of the few people that was actually loyal to them, hopefully,
Yeah.
and they say, "Fuck you. I don't have to. I don't. My loyalty doesn't mean much to you, especially if I'm getting the $10 billion."
Yeah.
So what do you think about that? What is your take on that? So like, let's just say it's that. Let's just say it's that. Let's just say you had a partner. Let's just say you love this partner, Anthony.
Hmm.
$10 billion to cheat.
Hmm.
What would you do?
This is someone who actually is a ride or die. This is someone who's worth like
Yeah. Here's the thing. If you
I
select a
got
partner, I'd hope it'd be like that.
yeah okay.
Yep.
So I've done I've done the time. I spent the time with them. Right. I put in the work, the efforts there.
Let's just say.
I actually love this person.
Let's just say it's been 2 years. You guys are in a 2-year relationship.
Okay.
You have time invested. You have money invested. You have emotional bond invested.
Mhm.
Okay.
I would have to do it like this. First,
Oh shit.
all right. Because
He's gonna try to fucking. He's gonna try to fucking watch us. Watch us. Watch us.
I got multiple answers to this, right? which is alarming. I know, but however, my first thing, right? Here's what I would do. This just
You can't talk to your partner before you make the decision, bitch.
you knew exactly that's what the fuck I'm doing. Because
Come on now.
my first thing I'm doing, I'm going to her is asking her would she cheat on me for to that $10 billion. The second, and I'm just saying,
Hey, that's a fair question.
exactly. I'm just saying because if she says yes, okay, I'm gonna take my $1 billion, $10 billion, and I'm gone. It's that simple.
That's fair. That's fair.
Is that because here's the because if they're loyal enough to say no, no hesitation, then yeah, I could say no, no hesitation. Because $10 billion can buy you a lot of things. It can't buy you loyalty though.
That's facts.
So, because honestly, with $10 billion, I can't get another you. I know you. We known each other for what 12, 13 years.
Yeah.
Exactly. I can't buy a friendship like that with $10 billion. So if I can't buy loyalty like that, then no.
What's the point of having it?
Exactly.
What's the point of having it then?
If they're loyal enough to say no to $10 billion, no hesitation, yeah, I'd still take them over $10 billion. But I definitely that would literally have to be my only scenario because I'd have to ask them first. I'm like, hey yo, would you cheat on me for $10 billion? If she says yes, right?
He said, "Run me my money."
If she says yes, okay, I'll see you whenever I see you. When I'm on my yacht, on my own private island.
He said, "I'll see you on the PJ. I'll see you all the way down there, man. I'll see you on the PJ, man."
Yes,
That's funny. That's funny though.
but you won't be with me though.
Yeah, exactly. Not for damn sure won't be with you. That's for damn sure. Yeah, that was an interesting point because all these things that you've mentioned so far are things that I had thought about when I was thinking about this earlier in my day. When I was talking to my friends about this, right? They were like, "Well, if your girl would probably take it." This is what they said. Obviously, they don't know my girl, but they were like, "Your girl would definitely take the money instead of staying with you. She would definitely cheat on you." And I literally I started laughing because I was like, you do not know the quality of people that I select to be in my life,
Yeah.
right? If I knew that to be the truth, it would immediately I would have already left. Here's the thing, not even I would have already left. I would have never even decided to make the commitment in the first place, right? So automatically I thought that was very very funny. And then like you had mentioned, right? If I had to like I said, money or love, like we were mentioning earlier, right? If I have to sacrifice, the friendships, essentially the love built within a friendship, and that is what I thought about. I was like, I would not trade $10 billion. I would not trade $10 billion and not have a friendship with you. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, for damn sure.
I would much rather have this friendship and lose out on the opportunity to have the $10 billion because, like you had mentioned, right? There's too much time invested. Money cannot buy what we have.
Oh, for damn sure.
Money cannot buy a friendship that has lasted 10 plus years, almost going on 15 years.
Yeah.
Money cannot buy that. Money cannot replace that, right? I would much rather not live in this life than to not have you as a friend. That's for damn sure.
For damn sure.
So that's just what it is, man. That's just listen. See what she said? Running off with the bag.
And he chasing the bag. Yes, I am chasing the bag always. I'm born to chase the bag, honestly.
I was born for it. He said. So yeah, that's definitely an interesting take though for sure. Like I said, I want to kind of get deep a little bit more deeper into the other things. So obviously you've chosen love over money.
Yeah.
And you've chosen to be a man of character.
Yeah.
Instead of $10 billion.
Mm-hmm.
So with the people that I had asked this question, I only one other person besides me had answered the way we answered, which was interesting. And then that began for me to really truly analyze the way in which these people thought, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I began to ask them questions. I'm like, does your loyalty not mean anything, right? Does your word not mean anything?
Yeah.
Does being an outstanding character not mean anything to you? Because essentially you're cheating. You're compromising your own loyalty. You are disrespecting somebody that you have invested time, that you've chosen, and who's chosen you out of all the people you could choose, and of all the people that they could have chose, they chose you and you chose them. And you're deciding to go ahead and say, fuck you, I would cheat on you for money. So you can be bought and sold. And then I told him, I was like, you would put on a monkey outfit for the right amount of money, and compromise your character.
Yeah, for real.
You'd compromise your own reputation based off of that. And I was like, I'm like, isn't that interesting? They would have no hesitation. They taking the money.
Yeah, that's why that some people really have price tags. It's
That's what it is, though. That's what it is. And then I
like
thought about this. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
like
Go
I
ahead.
was just thinking like how would high society look at you? Because I mean actually that's literally how high society can look at people, right? When you're that rich, that's how you look at people, right? You just imagine you're just going into a store, and what's in the store for these people? Living people. This one got this price tag. This one has this price tag.
For the right amount of
But
money.
exactly, the
They're
most
sold.
interesting people are the ones who aren't on the shelves.
That's exactly. That's indeed true. And then here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. Then you throw them in for a loop. You throw them in for a loop, right? So you said $10 billion. This you're gonna like this right here.
Mhm.
$10 billion, or you have to cheat, in order to get the 10 billion, you have to cheat on your partner, right?
Mhm.
But you have to cheat with the man.
Ooh.
Here's the thing. And then all of a sudden, they act like they have character and they have morals and they have values. Oh well, no, of course I wouldn't. Of course I wouldn't do it. Of course I wouldn't do it. Oh, now you have morals and values.
Yeah.
Now you want to be a person of character who decides to, not defy your own sexuality for money. But it takes me to get to that point. And here's the thing. And here's the thing. There's probably a lot of people that even said no to that still would say yes to that. Let's be 100.
Yeah.
Let's keep it a
Here's the-
1,000 though.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Some of those people would say no, but if you put the money in front of them,
They're still
yeah,
folding.
that's when you see what they really do. Yeah.
So like I said, I find that interesting. Like I said, all of a sudden they want to act like, oh well, of course I wouldn't do that. I'm straight. I'm straight.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: you could be straight, and maybe you wouldn't do that, but still you'd be compromising your loyalty, right? You'd be compromising your character. Your morals and values essentially mean nothing. The word that you give out to people means nothing if you could just be bought and sold.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's as simple as that. And like I said, that is beyond mind blowing. Beyond mind blowing. I cannot believe there are so many people who, without hesitation, said that, and with no further thought, with no depth of character,
Yeah.
to even consider another potential.
Yeah, really is. It is actually mind blowing. No, it's actually beyond mind blowing. It's what's probably one of the things that's really wrong with society today because people don't realize as much that money doesn't make you a better person. It just amplifies who you already are. Right.
Mhm.
I've heard that quote so many times. Right. And it still speaks true today. Right. Like you said, right? You have $10 billion. You have to choose $10 billion, or right, and be absolutely alone, or you get 100,000 with the people you love, right?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: if you have to be absolutely alone, well, then you got to think right now. What do you do when you're by yourself, right?
Mhm.
Well, let's say that's read books, watch podcasts, watch sporting events, right? And watch basketball games, or watch TV or play video games or whatever they do, right?
Yeah, of course.
Well, if you have nobody around, right? You have no family, no friends. Guess what you're going to be doing with $10 billion? You're going to have $10 billion in your account, and you're going to be sitting there watching Netflix, playing video games, watching podcasts, reading books. Anything you were already doing, you're still going to be doing the same exact thing, just with $10 billion in your account. Maybe in a bigger house with a nicer car, but you're still doing the same thing. So I was like, and if you're still doing the same thing, then what was the point of the money?
That is true. That is true. Another element that I want to kind of get into is this, which I don't think people really have. They don't apply enough thought to this to even consider it. It's like this, right? So let's just say you have money. So observe the people. Observe the people who have the most amount of money, right? Their quality of life is good on the outside from the perception of people who view their life and who also view their life in perspective, saying, "I wish I had money so I could do this and this and this. All my problems would be solved." And that's essentially when people say, "Of course I would have the money because I would have no problems anymore. All the problems that I have today would be gone."
Yeah.
But here's the thing: that might be true, but they made it seem almost as if they would have no problems at all after they had the money. And like I said, if you even remotely have that belief, you do not understand this life. You're going to have different problems in different circumstances
Yeah.
off of the rip. Problems that you have no idea how to handle because you're not in that position.
I don't know why that took me straight to a joiner Lucas quote.
Let's hear it.
It was in one of his songs. He said, "I thought I'd get all this money, then all my problems be through." He said, "Then I made a few millions. Now I got more problems than you." I remember that.
Okay,
I remember
okay,
that Joiner bar just came to me too.
okay, okay. But yeah, that's true
So
though.
yeah,
That is true. It would solve the immediate problems that you have that maybe might compromise your life financially.
yeah.
But you'd still have problems. You cannot act as if
It
these
does
problems would just go away and you'd have no problems and life would be fucking perfect.
exactly. It doesn't solve your problems. It changes them.
Bingo, exactly. It
Yeah.
changes them, exactly. And also, like I said, I want to kind of get a little bit more deeper into that as well. Is like you would have everything that you could have ever wanted, right? Right. With making that decision, the $10 billion to cheat or the love over money, right? The scenario that we had laid out for the people, of course, right?
Mhm.
But here's the thing: after you already do everything that you wanted to do, already bought everything that you wanted to buy,
Mhm.
you still, just like you do now, you would still want more. And maybe here's the thing: maybe the things that you want wouldn't be attainable, almost like the things that you want right now. So if you chose the money over love,
Mhm.
maybe you'd want something as simple as, I don't know, one of the most essential things to life, a partner.
Yeah.
But you could not have that. Just as most people cannot have a yacht.
Yeah.
You'd still long for something that you do not have and maybe that you can't even get.
Yeah.
Because that is the human experience. The human experience does not there's no 100% satisfaction of life. That does not even exist. That's not how emotions work,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like you would, no matter how much you have,
Mhm.
it will eventually get to the point where it is just normal to you, right?
Yeah.
So like let's just say you had 15 cars, right?
Mhm.
The same car you have right now, give it like 3 or 4 years when you're driving a Lambo, and that Lambo is going to feel exactly the same as the car that you have right now. It is now your new normal.
Yeah.
It is now your new bare minimum,
Mhm.
right? So it's instead of being, oh my god, I'm driving a Lambo, you just be like, this is just my car, and you would treat it as this is just my car, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I find that interesting. So like I said, after you've already bought everything that you wanted to buy, you've already done everything that you wanted to do, you would still long after the things in life in which you lack that you do not have, just as you long for things that you do not have that you wish you had in today's life. Same exact thing. No, not the same problems, just change problems,
Exactly.
like you had mentioned. So I
That's
find that very,
facts.
very
That's
interesting.
facts. Well, because here's the thing, right? People realize, well, because here's the thing. It wouldn't be until they get that $10 billion that they would realize it wasn't even the $10 billion that they wanted.
Hmm.
Because it's not the money people want. They want the difference. People want what they can't have. So if they said you can't have $10 billion, they want $10 billion, right?
Okay.
But if you say, yeah, sure, you'd have $10 billion, right? But imagine if you don't have $10 billion, right? You already have that 100. You only have 100,000, right? But you already have the yacht, the Lambo, the mansion, right? You already have all that, right? You already have everything you want financially, right? But you don't have $10 billion. Do you still really want that $10 billion? Well, what do you need it for?
What do you need it for?
What is it? What is it going to do for you? Absolutely nothing. People literally want things because they cannot have them. It's like it's the oldest one of the oldest things in the book. Like when they say don't push the big red button.
You're gonna be tempted as fuck.
Exactly. The first thing I'm doing, like, I'm pushing that big red button. that that would
Or the teacher says in class, "Do not laugh."
exactly.
You motherfucker, you best believe.
I'm
I'm gonna try my hardest not to, but
exactly.
I probably am.
I'm laughing literally just because they said don't laugh. Nothing was even funny. No one even said anything, and that's why I'm laughing.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right, man. I had one more thing that I wanted to say on this topic before we move on. I'm trying to think. I forgot it, but I'll remember it later. But is there anything else you want to say before we go ahead and move on to the next topic? How's that water, man?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Fuck the Lakers. That's all I wanted to say.
I bet that sounds good to me. Trying to think. There was one more thing that I wanted to say that had to do with this topic. Uh, yeah, it's not coming to me right now. It's fine. We'll move on. If you guys have any questions or comments regarding anything that we have mentioned, or maybe you want to share your own opinion in the comments, whether you're rewatching this or watching this live, I want you to go and let us know because we want to know your guys' opinion based off of all the things that we've said. And initially, before we had said any of the things that we said, I want you to let us know if your opinion had changed. Initially speaking, you chose the money, or initially speaking, you chose the love, and then after the explanation, maybe you chose the money, or maybe you chose the love. I want you to go and let me know for sure, for sure. But yeah, like I said, that was definitely an interesting topic. Like I said, you begin to see the character, like kind of like I already mentioned, right? You begin to see the character through the answer that they had given,
Mm.
and you start to see if these people actually stand for something or whether they don't, and you come to the conclusion that most people don't,
Oh, for damn sure.
and that is a sad reality. They have really no integrity, no true good moral character,
Yeah.
no values that they stand by and live by, not a person of their word, things like that. And like I
Yeah.
said, do you value money or do you value being a person of character and quality?
Exactly. The sad part is that they'd have to actually get that. They'd actually have to be given that exact scenario. You lost everybody, but you have $10 billion. Enjoy the world.
Hmm.
Yeah. You give them that. See how much that character changes. And I give it 2 years, 3 years time. I guarantee that first week they're like, okay, well, it sucks I don't have anybody to enjoy it with. They go crazy with all the spending, right? I would say give them I'd say give them 3, 4 months time, and they'll start to realize, well, yeah, a lot of these trips to Dubai and Puerto Rico and Puerto Penasco, all the exotic places.
Anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun, but they just ain't quite the same when you're doing it all alone.
That's for sure.
So
And another thing I want to mention with that as well is like this, right? This is another element that I had had to combat people who were defying my own belief. I wanted to get people to think about their decision and what their decision would entail. This is what I had forgot, but I remembered now. Essentially, it is like this, right? Part of being a man is doing work.
yeah,
Imagine if you had $10 billion, work would the most of the work that you would do would be nothing.
exactly.
Especially if before that money you didn't have anything that you would do that even if you're not getting paid for it, you still love to do it. Which most people they have jobs that they do that they don't really care about.
Yeah,
So therefore, if they were given the money, they would essentially miss out on doing work that makes somebody busy and makes somebody's mind busy, which is essential to
yeah.
the male human experience is working towards something. If you already have $10 billion, what are you working for?
Here's the thing.
What are
I
you working
imagine
for
I
at that
imagine
point?
at that point you're not even working anymore. Because
What,
here's the thing, exactly. Because when you ask them exactly that question, what are you working for? Well, here's the thing: you have nobody with you, no
I'm about
one
to
at
say,
all whatsoever.
yeah. Well, who do you work?
So
Who
so
you working for, and what are you working for? And
exactly.
both the answers are nothing.
Exactly. So you have to. The only person you could be working for is yourself. Well, guess what? You already have $10 billion. What more for yourself do you need to work for? Because that $10 billion is not going to fix your personality.
That's
Or
true.
it's not going to fix your mental state or your multiple problems. It's not going to make you happy, any happier than what you already were when you first got it. So it's like they would lose their purpose. That's what I imagine. I imagine you lose your purpose because like
Are you
it would
imagine how much harder it would be to even discover it.
exactly wow. It's like you already have $10 billion and you have no one right to discover purpose. Like there's no one to provide for, no one to protect, no one to give the world to. You have the world. It's all you. It's all yours, and you can't share it with anyone. It's like well, at that point, I told you that's why I say if you had that $10 billion, what would you be doing? You're not working anymore because why would you work? You have no one to work for but yourself. But you don't need to work for yourself. You have yourself set for your whole life.
That's true.
So what are you doing? What you doing your alone and quiet time? Watching TV, playing games, maybe read a book, maybe go to the gym.
Not hanging out with homies. I'll tell you that.
Exactly.
In that scenario, of course, but
Yeah.
yeah, I just like I said, I find that interesting, and like I said, with basically the way in which people answer that question, you begin to realize that not only do people lack depth and character and all the things that I had already mentioned, but it's also like you don't understand what brings fulfillment within this life. You don't understand that work. You don't understand that your purpose or your why or the people that you would work for are what makes this life that meaningful, right? Especially like you said, spending it with Um, spending it with people who you actually care about or who you love, right?
Yep.
That is the most meaningful part of life. And without that, what's the point of life? Life would, and like I said, if you were given $10 billion, you would like I said, you would blow a lot of it, right? And maybe it would be fun. Maybe it would be a hell of a thrill. Maybe you'd be able to do everything that you wanted to do. Maybe you'd buy everything you wanted to buy. But after that, there's really nothing after that.
Yeah.
Which brings you to the next point. And this is something that I remember you saying, and I found this to be very, very interesting. And like I said, I feel like a lot of people they need to truly value this a little bit more than what they value it right now. It is the topic of it's not where you are, it's who you're with. Anthony, I want you to go ahead and break that down for what that means to you.
It's not where you are, who you're with. Well, this is literally, it means that no matter how high of a point you are, no matter how low of a point you are, the people you're with are always going to make it either a good time or a bad time, right?
Okay.
So, and a perfect example of this is I noticed three places I remember us going very vividly, right?
Hmm.
We went to Cali, right?
Yes.
Bomb ass time, right? We go to the gym all the time, bomb ass time. We go to the club every once, twice, maybe every month or every 2 months, right?
Okay.
Incredible time. But I realized I'm not gonna have a better time in Cali. I'm not gonna have a better time at the club, and I'm not gonna have a better time at the gym. Right? They're all equally very fun, right?
Okay.
And it's not because of where I'm at, right? It's because of who I'm with.
Of course.
We always turn up, no matter what we're doing.
Of course.
It's we always gonna have a good ass time, and that's really just what it is in itself. Is because whether I'm busting my ass doing voluntary suicide Bulgarian squats. Yep. Or we had a club in California listening to some Spanish music that we never heard before.
Facts.
All right. Either way, it's essentially I get this. It's the same feeling. It's that same enjoyment feeling, right?
Hmm.
It's like and it only and that's what some people don't get. That sadly, it's like because if you're partying with different people all the time, right? You realize like, well, yeah, sure, you had fun, but how much fun did you have though? Like
Could you have had more fun?
exactly,
Hmm.
like because it's the meaningfulness of it, right?
Okay.
It's more meaningful when you do it with the people you love. The people who are going to be in your life for a long time, right? The people who get your inside jokes, right? The people who you can just give them a look, right? And they know exactly what you're thinking.
So one look speaks 1,000 words. That's for sure.
Exactly. If you can't make inside jokes, right? Or you can't just look over and be like, "Hey, yo," right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like if you can't if you can't just have little social cues, right? Or someone who knows you that well, it's not the same. Bros in the chat?
Yeah. So we got a few people in the chat. Let's react to those real quick. Okay.
Yeah.
Jaden said people give other people more attention when they have a larger amount of money, and people crave that attention. Love doesn't give them the same attention. That's why they'd rather have the money. That is true. That is a different element. When I had a conversation with a guy earlier in the day, that is one thing he'd mentioned. You would get a lot of attention with the things that you would have with money, and then I'm like, okay, but you really don't care or give a shit about those people at all for the most part. So it's like,
Exactly.
how much is that attention even worth?
Just
The attention is only the attention only means something it's when it's from somebody that you give a fuck about.
exactly.
Simple as that.
But it takes some time to realize that they really don't give a fuck about that attention from those people. They
Exactly.
don't.
Like you had mentioned earlier in the pod, man.
They'll enjoy it for a little bit, but long term, like, hey, yo, if you're getting that same attention from that same person, like 4 or 5 times a week, and you really don't give a fuck about that person, you know what they're gonna say?
Yep.
Get the hell away from me. I don't want to. I don't give a shit what the fuck you want to do. Because after a while, that person's attention, if they don't mean any shit, if they don't mean shit to you, then you don't want shit to do with them. Come on now.
One thing I want to mention with that, there's two examples that I have with that, right? So let's just say you had a lot of money. Let's just say you had a really flashy car, right?
Mhm.
The 100th person to give you a compliment on your car is not going to feel as good as the first person that gave you that compliment.
Pretty damn sure.
So eventually, like I said, okay, the 100th person, let's just say the thousandth person, the compliments that somebody would give you. Okay, whatever. I don't. It's essentially you don't care, and it is almost as if you're a pretty girl, right? And people tell you, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful." Maybe initially it's gonna mean something, right? But if it's the 100th guy that you don't care about, you're not gonna really give a fuck at all.
Yep.
And just like we had mentioned earlier, right? It only matters if it comes from a certain person.
Yep.
Then it has meaning. Then it has value,
Yeah.
right? But outside of that, it doesn't really mean shit.
Because it's not just a random opinion. It's a valued opinion. It's different. Yeah.
Okay. And like you'd mentioned, that attention would also be worth your time in your opinion, of course, for that. For that
It's like throwing rocks like throwing rocks at that car. One's a little pebble.
Mm.
It's gonna bounce right off that car. The other, that's 100-pound brick, right through that piece.
That's crazy.
Yep. That pebble that bounces right off, that's the pin you don't care about. That one that goes right through, that's the one that hits heavy.
Yeah, that's for damn sure. That is for damn sure. And then he said, y'all was in Twitch chat, and I was trying to tell you the video doesn't come through at all. It's a black screen with audio. Really, I can't do anything for that right now. So I'll try to get it fixed, though. Appreciate for letting me know, though. It depends on where you are in life. If I had $10 billion, I'd buy a house and save for my kids.
Yeah.
But in that scenario,
Right. You're a little late to the chat, bro.
go watch the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say. But let's go ahead and clarify the stance that he would be choosing in that scenario.
The stance that you're choosing, bro. It's you get $10 million, right? But you don't
Billion.
10 billion, not 10 million. $10 billion, right? You don't get your wife, you don't get your kids, you don't get friends, you don't get family.
No, you can have them, but they don't love you.
Okay, so you can have all of them, but they don't love you at all, right? So all
That's
the
the love or money.
exactly. It's all the love you get from them, right? Because I see how little man looks at you. I know how much he loves you. Imagine all that's gone, right? You get no love from family, friends, family, anyone, right? It's just you, but they're still there, but they just exist pretty much.
Mm.
And you have $10 billion, or
What you can give him the other scenario as well.
or
$10 billion, and you have to cheat.
Yeah.
So you can get that $10 billion, but just know it's going to cost probably the person that you love the most.
Yeah.
Right. And here's the thing.
Or-
My thing is this. So let's just say you were to cheat, right? And your woman stays with you. She does not value loyalty off of the rip.
Yeah.
And do you want a woman that doesn't value loyalty? Think about that for a second. Think about that, man. Think about that.
Yeah.
Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But maybe you do. But maybe you don't.
Right.
So that is the trade-off. That is the trade-off. So you, and then maybe I'll give you this. I'll hit you with this one right here, right? $10 billion. But you have to cheat with a guy. You still taking that money?
I wasn't taking it the first time. Damn sure taking it the second time.
So that's the question. That's the question of the day, man. That's the question of the day, man. But yeah, I want to kind of get back onto topic where we were. Like I said, if you guys have any comments or questions regarding anything that we're saying, make sure to leave in the comments for sure. But yeah, I want to get back on what you were talking about when it's not where you are, it's who you're with. And I've always thought about this. Me and Anthony have had plenty of discussions about this, and it goes something a little like this, right? Me and Anthony could have the same time at the bottom of life and at the top of life. We can have the same great time always.
Yeah.
How do we know this? We know this because we've been tested. We've been at the bottom, and here's the thing: we've also been at a better places than the bottom, of course.
Yep.
And it's still the same. It's still the same reaction. We still have a good time no matter where we are. If it's at the gym, if it's 10 years ago, if we were just playing basketball, regardless, it's still that same feeling. If we were in a box, or if we were at the highest of heights of life, it's still going to be the same good time at the end of the day. And yeah, that is the most important part. It's not where you are, and like the scenarios we've mentioned earlier, right? You much rather would be with people making $100,000 a year that you're loyal to and are loyal to you, as opposed to being surrounded, have a lot of money, but being surrounded by people that you can't put your full trust in. They're only kind of really want you for your money. And really, it's not where you are; it's who you're with at the end of the day. That's all it comes down to. Exactly. Of course, you want everybody around you should want to elevate, but at the same time, it's like this, man. I know for damn sure if I hit the bottom of bottoms of life, Anthony would still be there. I have a few people in my life that would still be there, and I know that if I was at the top of life, Anthony would still be there regardless. And that's just what it is. The same thing for him, same thing for the people that I love in my life.
Yeah, that's for damn sure. I'll tell you right now. If you give me the option of like, yo, you can go to the Bahamas with a bunch of strangers, or you can go hoop with champ in the most dangerous neighborhood in the world. Guess what?
We hooping, dog.
We coming strapped. We some shooters out here. Yes, sir.
So we shooting.
We shooting.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
We on that court. Yep.
Yeah, like I said, it's a double entendre, brother.
Ross said,
Hell
"Hell
no.
no, I was taking the first one."
Yeah, so like I said, it's a little bit of a tough scenario, of course, but like I had mentioned, you have to go back and watch to get the full picture of what we were talking about. But yeah, no, it's definitely an interesting question and definitely something that I feel like a lot of people they're a little quick to pull that trigger on that 10 billion. Of course, like I said, if the 10 billion was on the table, maybe it would make you forget about your characters, the character that you want to be, your morals and values, and maybe it wouldn't. Maybe you don't have it in the first place. Maybe that's what it is.
Here's the thing: if they just choose that 10 billion off rip, right? They're either already alone, right, and they
Facts.
with nothing to lose, no one to lose, right, or they're just arrogant, selfish, naive, whatever, right? But and they need to learn that lesson the hard way. But realistically, or they need to do some serious thinking, right?
For
For
most
us,
people haven't done.
much most people haven't done, right? For me, I was like that situation is almost a no brainer. So
For sure.
yeah, bro. Yeah, bro, you need to go back and watch the beginning though for to know what it was all about though, because we was spitting game.
Been spin game, brother.
Yeah, been spitting game.
All right. Is there anything else you want to say besides for that one topic we're talking about? It's not where you are, it's who you're with.
Yeah.
Like I pretty much already said everything I need to say.
And-
You get the essential concept, right? We kind of mentioned a little bit with the love versus money topic and things like that. So, getting to the next one, it is going to be. I want to refer back to a podcast topic that I did recently that I had mentioned you on, and I want to know I want to know the other side of the story, even though I kind of already know it. But like I said, I want to be able to display that to the people, right?
Okay.
When I say the greatest thing a man can offer another is a reasonable challenge, what comes to mind, and what do you think about that?
The first thing that came to mind is that, man, the shit you put me through last week, right? We already hitting back day, right? And what does bro do, right? What does bro do? All right,
Hidden back.
he decides while we're in the middle of the next workout, right? We're doing back and tries while we're in the middle of hitting tries. He gonna go up there and he gonna do some pull ups, right?
Okay.
So obviously he did 10 pull ups. Well, I know what that means. That means I got to do 10 pull ups, right? Well, I was complaining about it. He said, "So fuck you. We doing 10 more." I was like, "All right, fuck you. We do the 10 more, right?" He said, "All right, now stop being a bitch." Now he does 8 more, right? Now he's pissing me off, right? Now here's the thing. Realistically, and here's my thing, right? It shouldn't piss me off if I'm not gonna do it, right? If I have no intention of doing these pull ups, then I have no intention to be mad. Then there's no reason for me to be mad about it, right? I'm pissed off because I know I'm gonna do them, right? He's challenging me, obviously, and there's no way I'm gonna back down from that challenge, right? There's no part of me that's like, just because since he did it, I'm not doing it, right? I threatened him saying I won't do it, knowing damn well I am gonna do it, right? I'm gonna do it regardless because when he's pushing me to be my best version of myself, right? Well, I ain't want to do it at the time, but I'm still gonna do it though, even if
damn
I'm
sure.
waiting. If I'm waiting some time in between the set, right? And there's value in that. People who say, "All right, just because I did it, I'm not gonna do it." Well, I mean, sure, you can do that. I mean, but just know that they're getting ahead of you, right? They're winning you. They're outworking you. You got to be willing to do not get outworked. Me, right? Me and him. He worked hard. Best believe when we in the gym, he put in a lot of fucking work. I'm putting in just as much fucking work. If you let yourself, you're so fine with letting yourself be outworked in the gym. You got to step your game up, or you need to find you a new gym partner. Because trust me, they're doing more than you're capable of, and that should not be the case
And here's the thing: that shouldn't even sit right with you
at all.
at the first place, right? That shouldn't even sit right with you. And that is a great example that he used. Of course, that is definitely one example.
Yeah.
We also challenge each other outside of the gym, but that topic was definitely an interesting one because I don't think enough people see it as a reasonable challenge, right? When another man challenges you, you have the option to be offended, take offense to what was being said or the challenge that was, put forth, or you can accept the challenge and say, maybe this person has the best interest in mind for me. Maybe this person maybe this person believes in me and is now allowing me to hopefully prove who I am to myself based off of this action and doing this action.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what we do all the damn time. We say it's all unconscious, of course. I'll do something.
Yeah.
And now he'll have to do it, or he'll do something, and now I got to do it because, like he had mentioned, I'm not about here. I'm not here gonna get outworked right now.
Yeah.
I ain't got time for that. I ain't got the energy for that, and I'm doing this shit.
Exactly. So we push each other to be the best versions of ourselves. And here's the thing: if you're not around people who are doing the same, then you're around the wrong people. That's for one. And for two, it's like if you're willing to accept the fact that hey yo they're outworking you, you're practically willing to say you might as well just say yes they're better. That's a better man than me. He is a better person. And me, I can't accept that. I can't accept that. We can be here and here. I can't accept that though.
Yeah, come on now. For sure, for sure. But and another thing is this, and this is the other element that I had mentioned, right? With not only is that one example, but let's just say it's like this, right? Let's just say I'm not as confident within myself. Let's just say for the scenario, or let's just say I'm not as confident within myself of moving up within weight, or maybe taking on the bigger challenge, right? Regardless of what it is within life, right? But if he challenges me, he has some type of belief in my ability to potentially do that,
Yeah.
right? Now, if I don't have enough belief within myself, but he believes in me, and he's a person that I trust, I'm gonna go ahead and go forth with that and saying, okay, this is a person that I trust. They believe that I can do it, so at the very least, I'm going to try my best because that person deserves at least my best, and my future version of myself deserves the present self to do the most that person can.
Yeah.
Right. And I tell Anthony all this all the time, man. When he like I said, let's just say he doesn't want to do it, and of course, like I said, let's just say he doesn't want to do it, right? I say I don't give a fuck, and your future self doesn't give a fuck, so you be doing it.
He says that every single time. He said future Anthony, he don't give a fuck. He said I don't give a fuck. Future Anthony, he don't give a fuck either. Now do this shit. I'm like motherfucker. And you know what? I do this shit, goddamn it, every fucking time.
Exactly, but like I said, it's all within good fun. It's all within good challenge. But like I had mentioned, right? Are you gonna get offended, or are you gonna take it as a challenge?
No.
Because, like I said, most people, if you view the way that they view a challenge, they view it as simply something that offends their character. How dare you do that to me? Instead of saying, you know what, I bet. Yeah. That's it. As simple as that. Just bet.
Exactly.
Simple as that. So yeah, like I said, that was definitely a good one. Like I said, I want to say I did that maybe about 6 or 7 podcasts ago. So if that one interests you, tap in with that podcast for sure. Because like I had mentioned, right, the greatest thing a man can offer another is a reasonable challenge. If you do not have enough men around you that are giving you reasonable challenges, or people within your life that are giving you reasonable challenges that are going to test you and that are going to push you into your better version of yourself, then quite frankly, you are wrong. You are around the wrong people, and you need new people who are going to challenge you. Because if not, you're not going to grow, they're not going to grow, and you're going to stay the same. And that's obviously, we ain't here to stay the same in this life, man.
Exactly. And here's the thing, there's another thing, right? If you are someone who gets offended by those statements, right? Hey yo, stop being a bitch, do the fucking set, right? Right? As far as we see that, like, fuck it, I'm doing the set, right? Ask yourself these 2 questions. First, does this person have my best interest in mind, right?
Okay.
And 2, is there a possibility that they believe in me more than I believe in myself in this moment, right? Because here's the thing: just because we're talking shit doesn't mean it's shit talking, right? So if I say fuck you, do the weight, right? That doesn't mean stop being a bitch about it. You're just acting like a baby, mouthing off. It's like, no, you can do this fucking weight, right? So stop acting like you can't do this fucking weight. It's that simple, right? We don't word it like that, right? Yo, it's worded to piss you off. It's worded to motivate you to get the shit done.
Motivate you into action, right?
Exactly, motivate you to into action, right? So you have to actually be able to analyze that, right? And when they say, "Yo, hey man, stop being a bitch, man, get that fucking set done," right? Know what you do? You stop being a bitch and you get that fucking set done, buddy.
And here's the thing: you prove them wrong.
You prove them wrong, exactly. If they say, "Hey yo,"
or prove them right.
You'll prove them right, exactly. Like if Champ says, "Nah, you won't hit 2 more. You won't hit 2 more." Best believe I'm hitting 2 more just because of that. Yep. Motherfucker did that to me before. And I was pissed off too. I was like, man, them legs been shaking. But man, that squat, I'm gonna hit those 2 more squats though. I'm gonna do it anyways.
The motherfucker said, "I'm finna be crawling out this motherfucker," but guess what?
I tell you what though, I'll
Gonna do it,
crawl out.
man.
I'll crawl out the fucking gym before I let them tell me I won't fucking do it.
That is true. That is true, man. And like I said, it not only does it test the physical, it tests the mental. And no, like I said, it doesn't matter. We're just using the gym as the example, but it really doesn't matter what you do. It should test. It should test your character. It should test if it's a reasonable challenge. It'll test the physical. It'll test the mental,
Yep.
and through that, hopefully, an evolution will take place. And if not, like I had mentioned, if there's no challenge, then there's no reward, really.
Yeah.
Right? Simple as that. Is there anything else you want to mention before I move on?
No, I think we covered all bases on that one.
All right.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into the next one. This is another topic that I find of interest, and this is I told Anthony about this the other day, but I kind of wanted to say it on the podcast. This was something that I came up with.
Okay.
People don't know where they're going and don't know where they want to go,
Yep.
but hope they get there. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's like driving in the dark with no headlights on, man. Like 12 o'clock at night, you can't even see that road. You better hope. They're just hoping and praying with no destination in mind. I don't. Here's the thing. That's actually really a mistake because you're gonna run out of gas eventually. So
okay.
So, hey, yo, so you really gotta figure it. You gotta know where you're going before. Honestly, before you should start driving. Honestly, like it says, people don't know where they're going and don't know what they want to do, but hope they still get there.
When I thought about that shit, I was like, I really just couldn't help myself but to just laugh because that shit is so true. And yeah, I would say it's really as simple as that, right? People lack the clarity. They first of all lack the clarity. They don't know specifically where they want to go. They have no end goal. They have no ideal version of themselves conceptualized and aim for, right?
Bro said Corday. I'm on this road and I'm not sure where my heart is headed.
That's crazy.
And
That's
if you
crazy.
left me now, I know how far you're gonna.
And then also, like I said, so not only do they not know where they want to go, or they don't know where they're going, and obviously, like I mentioned, right? If you don't know where you're going somewhere, and you're going quick, but you're really going nowhere at the end of the day. You're going nowhere.
You're going nowhere fast.
Very fast.
Very fast.
And then, like I said, people hope they get there, right? People will say, "Man," and maybe they even have a somewhat conceptualized version of this. Maybe, I want to be a millionaire, right? But they don't know really where they're going.
Right? How are you gonna become that millionaire?
Exactly. They don't have a plan created. They just have a delusion, and then they hope they get there. And that's never going to be the case. You're not going to just stumble upon your hopes and dreams. That's not how that works, right? That's why you need that clarity. That's why you need to ask yourself questions to hopefully reanalyze where you want to go, so you know you're potentially going to the right place. And then obviously you need, like you had mentioned, you need the roadmap. You need the
GPS.
You need to turn that damn GPS on. You need to turn your damn headlights on so you know what the fuck's going on.
Yep. Man, it's actually sad because here's the thing: people don't realize, right? If they just, all right, I want to go there, but if you make no plans to actually go there, guess what? You're never gonna get there, and here's why. And the reason why they're going nowhere fast is because time does not stop for nobody.
That's for damn sure.
Yep. You will grow old before you see that destination. If you don't start walking there now, start driving there now.
Or should take the fucking PJ there, man.
Yep.
'Cause if not, like you mentioned, you're going nowhere super fast. Man.
Super fast.
Super fast, matter of fact. And yeah, like I said, it's just something that I feel like everybody can really take with them. And like I said, I want you to truly analyze this within people that you're around, right?
Yeah.
Would people say that they want to go somewhere? Let's just, like I said, they have a somewhat conceptualized version of this ideal self, right? But let's just say they have no plan. If you have no plan, then you truly have no plan. You're literally just talking about delusions, right?
Yeah.
If somebody's gonna talk about what they want within this life,
Yeah.
they must also be able to talk and have a thorough conversation about how they plan on doing that.
Yeah.
Not just a basic plan that you can copy and paste, but a specified plan that you can understand just by having the conversation. That they spent a lot of time thinking about this.
Yeah.
They spend hours and hours developing this idea within their head. Because if not, like I had mentioned, then it's just talking.
Yeah. There's too many people who can't answer the second question. The first question is, what do you want to do? Okay. How are you going to get there?
Mm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's true. That is indeed true.
Yeah.
And one element with this, and like I said, this is kind of this is an interesting thing, right? So people like they want to get to a place.
Mm.
So like let's just say you had a goal of something. This is something that I would say makes me a little bit more different than most people, right?
Yeah.
They say, "Hey, I have this goal in mind, right? This goal of doing this thing, right?" Little do you know, you will probably value the person that you become in order to get there more than you will getting to the place. I want you to think about that for a second, Anthony.
Wait, say that one more time.
People should value
Mm-hmm.
the character it would take in order to get to the place that they want to go, as opposed to getting to the place that they say they want to go.
Yeah. The joys in the journey.
Joy is in the journey, exactly.
Yeah.
But yet most people will make it seem like it's not, and I feel like they just, like you said, maybe they haven't went that far in their journey enough to realize that.
That is true. That is true.
Because for me, I've always been a lot more infatuated with the character development as opposed to, like I said, arriving at a destination. Because realistically, is there any destination that you will arrive at? Because once you reach the destination, there's going to be another destination that you are going to try to reach.
Yeah.
So you'll never end up getting there. But what you will get is the character development that got you to the place that you said that you wanted to go.
Exactly. Because here's the thing, you get that joy from reaching this place, but here's the thing, now you want to go to the next place.
Shit ain't done.
Exactly.
Job's not finished.
Job's not finished. Job finished? I don't think so. And that bar is eternalized because it applies to everything really.
Yes, sir.
That bar that's an eternal bar. That's an eternal Kobe bar.
Yeah, shout out to Kobe, man. Shout out to Kobe, man. Come on now. But yeah, appreciate you for stopping by. We're gonna go ahead and end it off here in a minute. There's one more thing that we'll discuss, and like I said, if you have any questions or comments, or maybe there's a question or maybe a comment that you want us to go ahead and review, let us know for sure. But then we're gonna get into the last topic for today's episode. Then we're gonna go ahead and end it off. Appreciate you for stopping by. Make sure to go and leave a like on today's episode. Like I had mentioned, if there's something that you want to mention or a question you have, whether you're watching this live or rewatching this, let us know in the comments, right? So to end it off, this is the topic that I want to go over.
All right.
Everyone respects discipline and self-control,
Mm-hmm.
but people don't respect themselves enough to instill self-discipline or self-control. Why is that, Anthony?
Oh, this is something that always pisses me off, right? It's because the reason they don't here's the thing, they respect it, right? But they don't respect themselves.
Mhm.
That's the real problem, right? Because I've seen this happen more than once, and I've heard people say it more than once, and every single time, I'm just like, I'm not gonna blow up on this person, right? Because I'm not close enough with them to really just press them on it like that.
Don't give a fuck enough.
Exactly.
Okay.
I kind of just walk away from it and I let it go because they'll be like, oh, you go to the gym, right? Oh, you're doing this, you're doing that, right? I'm really proud of you. It's like I couldn't do it, but hey, I'm proud of you. What? Why not?
That's a good
Why
question.
why can't you do it, right?
Mhm.
Shit, man, I don't want to do it, but I'm doing it, right? And here's the thing, for me, I'm like, yo, as someone who had like zero motivation, not like throughout high school, right? Zero motivation, and I've still got enough motivation to go to the gym, right? So I'm like, it doesn't take too much, really. If you just the will to put in the effort, the initial step to actually take that one step out that door, it's after that, it's like, well, I'm there. I might as well do it, right?
Mhm.
So the self discipline and that self control to do it, it's not as hard as people think it is, right? It's really not. You do it 1 day, 2 days, right? If you could do it 1 or 2 days, you can do it for 1 or 2 years. If you could do it for 1 or 2 years, you can do it for 10 years. If you could do it for 10 years, you can do it for a lifetime.
That's for sure.
So I hate hearing people say that. They're like, "Wow, couldn't be me." It could. It really could,
And it should be you.
and it should be you. If it's like, okay, what's holding you back?
I know what's holding them back, Anthony. What's holding them back?
Their mentality, man. For what? No, no. What were you gonna think?
Oh no, it's 100% their self. They
Yeah,
they they
yeah,
they defeat themselves before life defeats them.
yeah.
They say like you mentioned that example. Oh, you go to the gym? I couldn't do that. You saying you couldn't do that? You've already lost.
Yeah.
You already did not survive, brother. You're cooked. You're already cooked. And
You
it's as
lost
simple
before
as
the
that.
game started.
Exactly. Before they tip the ball off, you already said, I forfeit. I quit off of the rip. Just off your mentality. And of course,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things wrong with the mentality of that. But yeah, um kind of getting back to that, right? Like I said, everyone's gonna respect. So let's just say you're dedicating yourself to a certain thing, or you have habits that are admirable, right?
Yeah,
Everyone's going to respect the discipline and the self control. Either self control not to do something or self control to do something, discipline to do something or discipline to not do something, right?
yeah.
But like I mentioned, most people do not respect themselves enough to instill that same self discipline that they admire or same self control that they admire in another person. For me, it is one of the goofiest things that I ever experienced within observing other people's behaviors, right?
Yeah.
Like, why do you not have the mindset of it can be me as well?
The crazy thing is, it goes full circle too, right? So you respect that someone has the self discipline for this. You
Okay.
respect the fact that someone has the self control for this, but you don't have enough self respect to do it for yourself. Well, here's the thing: if you respect them enough to do it, right, and you respect it enough to try it yourself, guess what? You can also gain that self respect for yourself
Hmm.
if you just by trying it. At least, oh my goodness! But it said 28 days. It takes 28 days to change a habit. That's
Maybe that's
crazy.
true. Maybe it's not. It takes an entire
Yeah,
mindset shift in order to really change a habit.
yeah,
But here's the thing: habits one thing, and identity is a whole nother thing. You cannot instill a habit unless you change the identity first.
mm,
You can go to the gym 28 days, but if you still believe in your mind that you're fat and that you're a person that doesn't go to the gym, quite frankly, that 28 days has been wasted.
yeah.
You must be able to change it. I read books on habits and stuff like that.
That's why.
But essentially, it all starts within the mentality. It all starts within the identity that you uphold and that you choose to uphold.
Yeah.
Most people uphold an identity that doesn't suggest any actual self-discipline or self-respect or self-control.
Yeah.
So therefore, when they see that, they admire that because they understand how hard it is for that to be applied within their own life.
Yeah.
But they still don't respect themselves or love themselves enough to instill that same level of self-discipline that they admire.
Yeah. I said if you can do it, you can do it again. But that is very true. You do also have to have that mentality as well. I forgot about that because this is why we have 3 weekers every January, right? And we call them 3 weekers because you'll see them in the gym for 3 weeks, and then after those 3 weeks, you'll never see them again. Um, and the reason, and obviously, there's always a few that stay. It's because those are the few that have the mindset of I'm improving, right? I can see my results, right? I know I'm getting better. I know I'm bettering myself, as opposed to the people who are like, man, I'm not seeing results. I'm just sore every day. This doesn't make any sense. What am I doing? It's the complete different. And you know what? You know what they do after 3 weeks? The only thing they come in that do is to cancel that membership. I'll tell you that.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh, I'm here. Are you here again? Okay, okay. I see you. I see you. No, I'm actually here to
Yeah.
cancel my shit for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Let me get my money back, bear.
That's crazy. That's so crazy. But yeah, no, like I said, when we say this, we're using the example of the gym. But this, like I said, this is going to expand outside of just the gym.
Yeah, that's just the easiest example, though.
Yeah.
To,
It's the most.
to
It's the
apply it
most.
to.
Yeah, it's the most easiest example to apply it to. But
Yeah.
another thing that you'd mentioned that I think is very, very interesting as well is sometimes it's not necessarily about seeing the results. It's about knowing that you're getting better and the work that you're doing will eventually reap you the results that you want.
Yeah.
So that is another reason why a lot of people quit in the gym, right? Or they just quit anything, right? Let's just say they do it, let's just say for 28 days. They don't see any changes within their body. But just know some of the biggest changes that could be applied to your life are things that someone cannot see within you, or maybe you can't even see physically within yourself. but that doesn't mean your mindset isn't changing. That doesn't mean your identity isn't changing. That doesn't mean that if you stick with this habit or stick with this identity, that it's not going to reap you benefits in the future. But since people don't see that immediate result, this goes with anything within life, right? They just because people don't see that immediate result, they don't see that instant gratification for the decisions that they made. They fall back into their own old ways of being, the same mindsets that they had, the same habits that they had, the same identity that they had, just because they didn't see any progress. When in reality, like I said, progress is only going to be seen truly through changing the identity.
Yeah, exactly. And once you circle back a while later, you'll see it. Even if you didn't see it before, you'll see it later. More than likely, and there's a good chance people will see it in you before you see it in yourself. All right. Even if they don't tell you, there's a good chance people will see it in you. What
He said, those are the few that made it to week 4, 28 days. LOL. That's funny. That's actually funny. That's funny. That's funny.
Oh, man.
But, I understand. I understand the concept. Like I said, I read books on habits and shit like that. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, my thing is this, and this is the same message that I'm pretty sure Anthony would say as well, right? If you want to be a person, if you want to be a person that has self-control and self-discipline, you must be doing the same things that you observe other people, who other people have the self-control and self-discipline. Yeah. If you do not do that, you will not have enough self-respect in any capacity that you want to go ahead and pursue within life. Yeah. It's as simple as that. So if you observe somebody that has self-discipline, if you observe somebody that has self-control, instead of resenting them, instead of putting them on a pedestal, understand that you could be in that same position. If you make the same decisions that they've made, and if you adopt a similar identity to the one that they have, you can be exactly like them. You don't have to be the person praising them. You can be the person on the same level as them, and it's as simple as that.
Exactly. Adopt the same mindsets and paradigms that they have that led them to obtain the self-control and self-discipline that they have obtained, right? Mm-hmm. And you will see it, right? Because once you understand the way their mind works, right, as far as the self-discipline and self-control works, right, you realize, right, the way you were acting before, in comparison, at some point, it just seems so goofy, right? It just doesn't seem right. Will never sit right with you again. If you actually identify as like, you'll sit down and you'll still really start to wonder, right? If you actually if you do it long enough, right, you obtain that self-control, right, that discipline, you'll realize like, why was I doing this before, or why wasn't I doing this before? You know?
Yeah, and like I said, most people don't even realize they have a problem. Most people don't realize that the habits that they had do not serve them, but yet they still continue to do the shit. I don't understand it, but they keep doing that shit. Whatever it is, man.
Some of them are just still sleeping.
That is true. Is there anything else you want to say to end today's episode?
Yeah.
Leave the people off on some game, man. I have mine already. I kind of mentioned it on the podcast, but I want to say it again.
Leave them off with some game. Oh man, I was just gonna talk my shit.
Here's the thing, if you're still watching, go back and watch the intro. Yeah. Watch Anthony's intro to the fucking podcast. If that shit does not make your day, nothing will fucking make your day. I promise you that shit.
I'm just saying, like, if you got nothing out of this podcast, right, and you're still gonna do the same thing, that's fine. But hey, man, just know we getting ahead, man. You losing the race, and by all means, I'm gonna keep winning. So I appreciate it because you're making my life easier. No, you're not really, but hey yo, you're making the competition easier. So
that's for sure, man.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say before I go and end it off, right? It's harder to try than it is to quit. That is why most people quit. Don't be a person that quits. Understand that it's going to be hard. Understand that there's going to be plenty of moments of resistance. But guess what? What is your alternative, man? It's as simple as that. This was episode 185 of the Life of Champ podcast with the boy Anthony, talking about many different topics, but love versus money was the main topic for today's episode. Yep. I'll leave you guys off with the podcast motto. Fellas out here, man, we don't just work around here, man.
We outwork.
So make sure y'all work with these motherfuckers because you know that we are, man. You know what time it is, man. Next podcast is going to be on Thursdays. Tap in with that for sure. I'll be doing a music live stream in about an hour, so tap in with that for sure. If you like music and want to go ahead and tap in with that for sure, there's a lot of new music coming out tonight. Tap in with that. Y'all have a good night, and like I said, stay tuned in for the next podcast on Thursday.